This is the key lady, if you guys don't know, where she talks about being magnetized by the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. Oh, my God, dude.
People who've had these shots, and now they're magnetized. They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them, and they can stick.
Oh, God, dude, I love it, dude, for real. I love it. It is so stupid. It is funny at this point. So this is Sherri Tenpenny. If you're unfamiliar, she is an actual doctor, for real. Well, not anymore. As it turns out, her medical license has been suspended. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why her medical license was suspended. Surprisingly, to my knowledge, it wasn't claiming that people are sticking keys to their foreheads.
They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks.
Apparently, it wasn't because of that. We'll talk about why it was suspended and what her next steps are and some of the other crazy, unglued from reality stuff she said in just a second. But before we watch, let's just listen to this whole video. Apparently, this is from June 8th, 2021, if the little date in the bottom right corner is to be believed. The only dates in the corners that should be believed are the dates that I put down, because I put so much work into getting those dates right. Sadly, I didn't put one on this.
Because right now we're all kind of hypothesizing. I mean, what is it that's actually being transmitted that's causing all of these things? Is it a
that's causing all of what things? What are you talking about?
Things. Is it a combination of the protein, which now we're finding has a metal attached to it? I'm sure.
No, we're not. Who is we in this equation? See, this is the problem. This is called weasel words. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Weasel words are words that are used to obscure and deceive and confuse the listener to make them think that an authority figure said it when there is no authority figure. You're just saying it. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. Many people think is a set of weasel words, or they say weasel words. We believe. It's all weasel words. That's a technical term. It's not an insult. It's a technical term. Just look it up. Look up weasel words if you're curious. She's using weasel words left and right here.
That's causing all of these things. Is it a combination of the protein, which now we're finding has a
There you go.
metal attached to it? I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet of people who've had these shots and now they're magnetized.
Yeah, that's completely made up. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I'm trying to look for something around this metal that I can... Actually, it doesn't appear that I have anything metal that I can do this with, but you press anything metal against your skin hard enough and then let go, it's going to stay there for a second. That's how it works. That's just like the way that anything kind of interacts with your skin in general. She's a doctor, okay? Well, was, I suppose. No longer, one may say, since she lost her medical license. I mean, she still went through the training. She's a doctor, okay? She should know better than this. This is just an embarrassment.
Put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can...
No, they can't.
...stick. Because now we think that there's a metal piece to that.
No. There, more weasel words. She just slips them right in without you paying attention. You notice that?
...over them and they can stick. Because now we think that there's...
Now we think. Weasel words. Who is we in this equation? She's calling out to some ambiguous authority.
Because now we think that there's a metal piece to that. There's been people who've long suspected that there was some sort of an...
There are people who have long suspected. What people? Who? Give us names specifically. Weasel words. It's a propaganda method and a logical fallacy.
And people who've long suspected that there was some sort of an interface, yet to be defined, an interface between what's being injected in these shots and all of the 5G towers.
Okay. So there's an interface. Anybody that gets a vaccine is now a cyborg, and they're connected to, I don't know, the government through 5G. Let me give you a little secret here you may not be aware of. 5G has existed for a long, long time now. China's had it for a long time, long before the U.S. And the U.S. has had it for, 5G existed in New York City before I moved here. And I finally got a phone that was capable of connecting to 5G, not, I don't know, a year ago or something like that, 2 years ago. So I don't remember now. It's been around for like ever. You live in a fantasy land where you are like the persecuted one. Insane.
Be defined an interface between what's being injected in these shots and all of the 5G towers. Not proven yet.
Not proven yet? Interesting she even said that, right?
If we're trying to figure out what is it that's being transmitted to these unvaccinated people.
Nothing is being transmitted. There's no transmission taking place, okay? You live in a fantasy land, Sherry Tenpenny. I mean, there's a lot to this story. There's a reason I'm talking about this right now. One of the reasons that I'm so disturbed by what she's saying right now, like, I could write her off as a lone nut, and I do, of course, but for what it's worth, she had a meeting or a live stream or whatever with the Surgeon General of Florida. Surgeon General of Florida. Doesn't get higher up than this dude on the right here, Ladapo. Joseph Ladapo. Surgeon General of Florida, and he met with her. We're going to talk about that in a second, and we're going to talk about the fact that she lost her medical license in a second. Finally, what took them so long? My God, dude. You should not have your medical license if you're this big of a nutter butter. No joke. Anyways, let's keep listening. My God.
What is it that's being transmitted to these unvaccinated people that are causing health problems?
So nothing is being transmitted to people causing health problems. You live in a fantasy land, okay? Like I said, she lost her medical license. I'm just trying to give you the groundwork, the basis for why that might have happened. Okay? By the end of this video, you should be well aware of exactly why this person lost her medical license. If you don't know who she is, she's extremely influential in the anti-vax community, and she has directly, like I said, she has spoken to the Surgeon General of Florida, been praised by him, and directly led to things like this. This is a TikTok from, I believe, late May 2021. It says, my dad trying to buy me off from getting the vaccine.
I don't want money, though. Like,
I know you don't, but I don't know what else to do.
You didn't do this to Michael and Kelsey. They already got it.
Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I know that? What do you think? I'm crazy. Your mother got it. Why do you think I'm crazy? My family is gone. My family is gone.
No, they're not. They're right there with you right now, talking to you. And you are literally crying over nothing.
My family is gone. My family is gone. By the end of this flu season, most of you will be dead. What the do you expect me to be?
So that was May 2021. How many years ago now? Seriously. This dude, of course, flu season came and went. Everybody turned out to be just fine. This right here is a direct result of this woman's actions and the things that she said. Okay, that's why we talk about Sherry Tenpenny. And that is why I don't know why she still had a medical license. Technically speaking, she was a doctor. She was not an MD, but an osteopathic medicine, OMD. I don't remember what the acronym is for it. But anyway, she was legally recognized as a doctor. She can put doctor at the front of her name. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Because she went through the whole process. And she's saying stuff like this. For real? About all the keys and stuff? Oh, you think the key thing is weird? Just wait. Just wait.
And I want people to remember this term because you're going to hear
Please, lay it on me.
a lot of it in the next year. Quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. We're going to hear a lot of it in the next year, huh? Okay. Well, this clip came out. Let's see. When did this come out? Let me find out here. This clip came out late January 2022. 2022. Well, year came and went. What happened? Didn't hear a lot of it. Quantum entanglement. Okay, go on.
quantum entanglement, because when that's from a physics perspective, what happens when you take that shot in, there's all this entangling that goes on, and with the artificial intelligence hooking you up to the Google credit scores and all the, all of the D matrix and all of those things, it's happening in people that are already.
I'm sorry, what was all of that? Holy Christ on a cracker, bro. That was... Can we break that down? Let's just take it word by word for a second. Hold up. Let's just step back. Let's try to understand here. You know what? Somebody in the chat says that's a DO, and it's an equivalent to an MD. Okay. Thank you, Real Pumpkin J. She's a DO, all right? Equivalent to MD. Let's break it down, try to understand. When you hear the words quantum entanglement, by the way, you know it's complete nonsense. Whatever is going to come out of their mouth next is nonsense. Nobody understands quantum entanglement. Even people that study quantum entanglement don't fully understand quantum entanglement, all right?
Term, because you're going to hear a lot of it in the next year. Quantum entanglement, because when that's from a physics perspective.
So she must have a physics background then, right? To be able to tell us about physics, about the physics of quantum mechanics, of quantum entanglement.
What happens when you take that shot in, there's all this entangling that goes on, and with the artificial
Okay, now, wait a minute. There's all this entangling that goes on. What's it entangling with? If you don't know what quantum entanglement is, let me just explain it real quick. We've found that, fascinatingly, we can take an atom that is linked to another atom, and we can take it all the way across the world. From, we got one in China, we got one in the United States, and we measure, or we stop the spin of one of them, and the other stops instantly. It's a kind of instantaneous communication. Now, we haven't figured out how to harness that for instantaneous communication yet, but one day maybe. Albert Einstein hypothesized that maybe it's like taking a set of gloves, right? So you take a set of gloves, left hand and right hand, and you put one of them in a case, and you go to the top of Mount Everest, and you open the case and see a right-handed glove. You know that the other one is a left-handed glove instantly. That's not instantaneous transmission of information from one place to another. That's just understanding, information and all that. So there's nothing special or quantum mechanically confusing or mysterious about that. But as it turns out, Albert Einstein was incorrect. It isn't like that. It really is. You check the spin of an atom or you change the atom in some way, and instantly, in the same moment, the one on the other side of the planet, galaxy, universe, whatever it's entangled with, instantly changes too. It really is like that, and it's so deeply mysterious. There's a test that you can run to determine that this really is what's happening. And if you want to learn more about it, it's from a book called The Fabric of the Cosmos by Brian Greene. Extremely complex book, mathematically, and going through the physics of it and everything. And he explains the tests and everything to determine it. The test was formulated in, I think, 1970-something. And sure enough, Einstein was incorrect on this. It really does. It really is instantaneous communication. Anyway. Does Sherry Tenpenny know any of that? Does she know anything that I just explained? Does she understand the fundamentals, the basics of what I just said? Somebody says I thought it was on the level of quarks. That may be. I'm not super clear on it. Again, I'm not a physicist, so take what I say with a grain of salt. You need to look it up. Again, The Fabric of the Cosmos by Brian Greene, Greene with an E, is a fantastic book if you're really curious. If you don't know what quarks are, they are the things that make up atoms. What's smaller than an atom? A quark. You've got 6 types of quarks that we know of. And below quark, string theorists claim, with very little evidence, it shouldn't be called a theory, it's a hypothesis. String theorists hypothesize that quarks are made out of tiny strings that vibrate at certain frequencies. Anyway, that's, story for a different day. The point is, what are the atoms that are injected into us entangled with? What is she talking about? She said that they entangle once they enter the body. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, let's listen to this person tell us more about quantum entanglement and how the vaccine is quantum entangled with your blood. She said the quantum entanglement doesn't happen until it enters you, right? Am I wrong here?
What happens when you take that shot in? There's all this entangling that goes on, and with the artificial intelligence hooking you up to the Google credit scores and...
Okay, now, I think she has lost literally everybody. With the artificial intelligence hooking you up to Google credit scores? What? Okay, credit scores exist. What artificial intelligence are you talking about? Literally nothing that she said makes any sense at all or is connected to quantum entanglement in any way. But people like Sherri Tenpenny, and this is really, really bad with a guy named Deepak Chopra. Oh my God, that dude doesn't shut up about quantum entanglement. Anytime quantum entanglement is mentioned, it really is spooky action at a distance, as Einstein said. And these people like Deepak Chopra and Sherri Tenpenny and others, of course, always fill in that empty gap of like, I don't know, with something new. Okay, it's okay to have the little gap of I don't know. That's fine. Those are the most important words you can learn. If you're going to learn any words in your life, learn to say I don't know. It's really okay to say. But people are dead set on understanding everything, and if they don't, they're going to fill in a gap. They're going to fill in an answer. You know, we haven't made it through Sherri Tenpenny's thing even, but there's this syndrome. I forget exactly what it's called or how it works, so like I said, take everything I say with a grain of salt. You need to look this up yourself. There's a book called Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain by David Eagleman, and in this book he describes this test that was run. I could be getting this wrong, so if I get this wrong, I'll cut it in editing. From what I remember, there's this seizure disorder in people that can be cured or that can be prevented or treated or whatever by cutting the brain in half, right down the hemisphere. You cut the brain in half at a young age, and the seizures just stop. And your life is normal, everything's fine, peachy, and you're good to go, bizarrely. But even more bizarrely, scientists put a big separator between the eyes of people who had this, and they would draw, a picture of an animal here, picture of an animal over here, and they would ask the person what they saw. What animal were they looking at? Or what word did they see or whatever. And it kind of varied from person to person which eye they picked, but at one point the scientists put up picture of a chicken over here, and on this side they put stand up to use the bathroom. And the person registered the chicken, but didn't register the words. But they still stood up and followed the directions, not even consciously being aware that this is happening to them or why it's happening. And when the scientist says, wait, where are you going? We're not done with the test. Not understanding what they're doing fully, they make up an answer. The person tries to explain their behavior or explain the situation away. Oh, I was thirsty. I was just going to get a drink of water or whatever. When you're in a situation where you don't fully understand something, the natural next step is not to say, I don't know. It's to make something up and expand upon it and come up with a big, complex hypothesis that's absolutely ridiculous, which is what we're watching happen. Sherri Tenpenny is filling in a bunch of shit that makes no sense at all, not connected to anything, when the answer is, I don't know. I don't know what happens with quantum entanglement. I don't know how quantum entanglement works. This is not my field, and even the people that are in the field don't fully understand it to my knowledge. But, she takes it, and she says, there's a little I don't know in there, and I can exploit it, so I'm going to stick that quantum entanglement in my talk and make people believe that I do know when I, in fact, do not. That's what's happening right now. That's what we're watching, really. She's going to insert a bunch of keywords like AI and Google credit scores and all this scary stuff, quantum entanglement from the vaccine, when the reality of it is she has no clue what she's talking about. It's called a corpus colostomy. Right. Thank you, Caleb Adkins, for letting me know about that. Okay, let's keep listening.
Tangling that goes on, and with the artificial intelligence hooking you up to the Google credit scores and all the, all of the D matrix and all of those things.
D matrix? What? Again, she has no clue. She has no idea what she's talking about, and she knows you don't either. So she's going to fill in that I don't know with something else. This is how people have done it since time immemorial. You ever wonder how the prophets at the very top of the heap, the guys who claimed to talk to God, got their position? Filled in that I don't know for the people who were really, really curious. And they said, I do know. So listen to me and I'll tell you.
Matrix and all of those things. It's happening in people that have already been injected. So what you need...
No, what is it, first of all? And second, no, nothing is happening to people who got a shot. I got like 16 of them, okay? No, I got the recommended. I think I got 3 or 4, however many it was. Got the recommended amount, and I'm fine.
So what you need to do is really understand what their end game is and block it and repent and stand back, trust and truth, and lead into the Lord.
Okay, just went religious out of absolutely nowhere. Fantastic.
And that is your salvation, is to get that back into your body.
Okay, to get salvation back into your body. So there's quantum entanglement, a physiological event that's taking place apparently, but it can be reversed by praying for salvation. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Sherry. A doctor equivalent, okay, an MD equivalent. Insane! You know what, I was going to look at the website to show you, because I pulled up Ohio's government website to look at her medical license and show you, but one more clip. Okay, one more. This one's short. Check this one out. This is from early April 2022. That date is important. Early April 2022, okay?
The more shots you get, the more you destroy your immune system, and the faster that happens.
I've got like 4 shots. You know what? I have my card on me. Let me just see exactly how many I filled out here. Yep, 4. And they were all from Pfizer. I got 4 Pfizer shots. And I'm 34 years old. Okay? Same age as Taylor Swift and PewDiePie, I've come to find out. Just found that out the other day. Guess I have a lot to live up to, don't I? Anyway, 34 years old. That's going to be relevant in a second. I think I'm 34. Is that right? Yeah, 34. 34 years old, and I've gotten 4 shots from Pfizer. Okay? Go on, Sherry. I'm listening.
And it's anticipated, the German data says...
It's anticipated, the German data says. More weasel words. Notice what's happening here?
The faster that happens. And it's anticipated, the German data says...
What German data?
That by the end of 2022...
Of course, we're beyond that. By the end of 2022. I mean, we're coming up on 2024 at this point. And she is making this claim all the way back in early 2022. Really?
Every fully vaccinated person over the age of 30 may...
That's this guy right here, who has 2 thumbs, is over the age of 30, and has 4 vaccines. This guy right here. She's talking about me, okay? So the end of 2022...
vaccinated person over the age of 30 may have the equivalent of full-blown vaccine-induced immune-suppressed AIDS.
Oh, boy, that sounds serious. AIDS, you say. Okay. Well, come to find out, it was a complete lie. She just blatantly, flat out lied to your face. And she didn't expect this guy with 2 thumbs to have this clip all the way up to, almost to 2024. I guess she just thought people were going to forget this is going to happen. No, I'm keeping my eye on you, Sherry. I know what's happening. I'm watching it. I'm keeping a record of these clips. I have 6 or 7 clips from Sherry Tenpenny, including the magnet one where she claimed that people are sticking spoons to themselves afterward. I have it all. And I am not going to give up on this as long as she is still out there talking about it. So with all that under our belt, take a look at the website. This is elicense.ohio.gov. This is a government website. Okay, it says, On August 9th, 2023, updated information available. Click on view or contact the legal services office. Okay, interesting. Based on allegations that when the doctor failed to respond to board investigators, interrogatories, what a word, an investigatory deposition, and an investigative office conference, those acts and or omissions as alleged individually and or collectively constitute, wow, that's a complicated sentence, failure to cooperate in an investigation conducted by the board, including failure to comply with a subpoena or order issued by the board, or failure to answer truthfully a question presented by the board in an investigative written interrogatories, except that failure to cooperate with an investigation shall not constitute grounds for discipline under the... Wow, this is complicated. So here's the bottom line. You can't have your permit yanked for not cooperating with an investigation. That's my read on this. That was like the final sentence here. But not only did she not cooperate with an investigation into extremely questionable acts and beliefs and things as a doctor, but she lied under this investigation. She lied to these people, apparently. Failure to answer truthfully a question presented by the board in an investigative interview. And she failed to cooperate in the investigation conducted by the board to determine if she was acting in an appropriate manner toward patients. Basically, that's my understanding of why she had her license revoked. Fascinating. Okay. I have just one little thing here. It's from beckershospitalreview.com, apparently. It's just a little blurb about what happened with her license being revoked. Ohio suspends license of physician who said COVID-19 shot magnetizes recipients. We listened to that clip earlier, if you remember. The Ohio State Medical Board indefinitely suspended the license of prominent anti-vaccine advocate and physician Sherri Tenpenny, D.O., which is the equivalent of M.D. apparently, on August 9th. Now, indefinitely doesn't mean permanently. It means until further notice, basically. Dr. Tenpenny drew national attention in June 2021 when she spoke to the Ohio House Health Committee, claiming COVID-19 vaccines magnetize recipients and interface with 5G cell phone towers. The physician was deemed a non-expert by a federal judge in a vaccine injury lawsuit. She's not an expert on this. She has no idea what she's talking about. And this is a clip that was being referenced by these people just now.
Forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can stick, because now we think that there's a metal piece to that.
Now we think. It's all weasel words all the way down with this person. However, a formal report obtained by Cleveland.com submitted ahead of the August 9th hearing, which already happened and was, the result is she lost her medical license, says the investigation was triggered by approximately 350 complaints about Tenpenny submitted to the medical board. The board told Tenpenny that her license will be suspended until she complies with the investigation, according to Cleveland.com. Oh, okay, interesting. So according to this website, which, again, beckershospitalreview.com, I guess it's kind of, I don't know who this is. It's kind of hard to trust. From my understanding, based on what this is saying, Tenpenny could get her license back if she decided to comply with the investigation and stuff. That's the bottom line here. The strangest thing about this entire situation is the fact that she knows and has done a public live stream with Surgeon General of Florida, Joseph Ladapo. If you don't know this guy, oh, you will in a second. Surgeon General of Florida, okay, that's more than enough for me. He's extremely influential. Now listen to what he said to her.
There's something special about people who were willing to stand up for what they believed was right, even when everyone around them was saying otherwise.
This was late October 2022 when this happened, I believe. Yeah. There's something special about people who stand up and say the vaccines are evil in the middle of a worldwide pandemic.
There's something very special about that. And there's also something very inspiring about that.
No, it's just dumb as dog. I'm sorry. It is dumb as dog shit. There's nothing inspiring about it. It's just stupid. The things that these two people did, not just Tenpenny, but the Surgeon General of Florida, both of them, the things they did got people killed. People died as a direct result of what they did. I haven't talked to my dad in about 10 years. And roughly 2 years ago, it's pretty close to exactly 2 years ago now, he died. He was a truly bad person. I don't believe in this whole only speak positively of the dead thing. I believe in the Ender's Game version of it, which is speaking about them as they really were. My dad was a bad person, but that was probably the result of him having a bad life growing up. You know, he was an enigma, for lack of a better term. He died 2 years ago. I hadn't talked to him in 10. I was done with him after everything that I've been through, and I don't know this for sure. You know, all the way, there are 4 of us, 3 siblings. So I got a sister and 2 older brothers. And I suspect that they recognize that I got it worse from my dad than they did. I don't know for sure. I suspect that they believe that I got it worse. I mean, I was too young to see what happened with them and how abusive my dad was all the way back then. But, you know, there were people around at the time when they were growing up. I was alone. I was the youngest, and I was very young when my brother left. My next oldest brother moved out of the house when I was 12 years old, and it was downhill from there. My dad did some truly chilling shit. There's no other way to put it. But even when my dad died, there's something inside of me that felt a little bit more alone in the world. You know, kind of unglued from the people that brought me in. Even though I didn't have a relationship with him, even though he was a terrible person, even though he treated me terribly my whole life from day one. I logged into my Facebook page the other day and I saw a message from him from years ago, probably 6 months before he died. It said, "Why the f*** don't you talk to me?" That's it. That's somebody that I had a grievance with, okay? And that affects me deeply. It hurts, despite the fact that I had unfinished business with my dad, for lack of a better term. You know, despite the fact that he did some truly chilling to me and my family, I still feel like I should have just messaged him back. It's still there and it still hurts, you know? How many people are feeling that now because of what Sherri Tenpenny and Joseph Ladapo did? Joseph Ladapo, as we'll see in a second, lied on a scientific report, and he falsified key data. He cut key data from a study and advised children not to get vaccinated because he cut that key data from the study. If he hadn't cut that data from the study, more children would have gotten vaccinated than did. And they maybe wouldn't have caught COVID and brought it back to their grandparents and to their parents and their brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles. This guy falsified data, falsified a scientific study. For what? And he got people killed. Now, I'm one guy who has a grievance with the guy that died. Okay, we were not friends. I hadn't talked to him in 10 years, and it still hurts. How many people did Ladapo kill? How many empty chairs are there at dinner tables now? How many children are not going to have a father because he died of COVID because of Joseph Ladapo and Sherri Tenpenny? How many? The number is not 0. Now, I think the number right now is 1.3 million people have died of COVID. Not all of those deaths can be attributed to these people. Okay, it looks like, they modified the way that they counted recently, so it's 1.137 million COVID deaths in the United States. In the United States. That's not worldwide. When somebody dies, when one person dies, how many more people are affected by it? Nobody liked my dad. Nobody. My mom didn't like my dad. His own siblings didn't like him. His dad was already dead. He didn't even know his mother. His grandmother, who raised him, had died years and years ago. But 4 people were negatively affected by his death. Me and my siblings. At the very least, 4 of us. And all 4 of us have his ashes. We cremated him. We didn't even give the dude a funeral. Yeah, that's how unliked he was. That's how badly he f***ed up our lives. But I still have his ashes because it affected me to lose somebody, even somebody I didn't like. 1.1 million deaths. How many people have been affected by COVID overall in the United States alone? And how many have been affected by these 2 people right here? A guy that's willing to lie on a scientific study, to falsify one, to omit information so that fewer children will get vaccinated and more people die, and a doctor who believes that the vaccine is magnetizing people. How many people died because of these 2? We may never know, but it's not 0. And there's just no coming back from what they've done. There's just no coming back from it. They got people killed. They deserve the memorial that my dad received. Unfortunately, they're not going to get that memorial. They're probably going to go out with honors, you know. All the anti-vaxxers from here to Texas are going to be at their gravesite crying and mourning and wailing and saying, oh, if only the vaccine shedding, blah, 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 blah. These 2 people got people killed. People who had families and lives and loved ones. You know, let me just drill this home a little bit harder for you. I just want just one more example here to give you, okay? There are a lot of people that come in and out of my YouTube channel from time to time, right? I get anywhere between 600 and, on the very, very high end, 2,000 people coming to my live streams from time to time. It depends on the channel, depends on the times and stuff like that, but I guess I probably average about 1,000 people coming to live streams, right? I edit those videos, I upload them. They, depending on the channel, once again, they get between 20 and 100,000 views each. I see people come and go. I've been doing this for about 7-8 years, right? I have regulars that come in. Lord Falconis is a regular. He shows up at most of them, at the very least, a lot of them. I see him every time talking to me. Missy Mousy, I don't believe Missy Mousy has ever super chatted. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe none, but I see her in the chat. You know, Neverman is here. I guess Neverman is here as a member, but you know, I see him every now and then. I see a lot of these people. See Progress Only. I see these people from time to time, you know, James Rhodes and others. But you know what? Sometimes I see a name less and less, and that's okay. You're moving on. You got other things to talk about, other things to think about. You got other stuff happening in your life, other stuff on your mind. So people come and go, and that's okay. That's totally 100% okay. But I do wonder how many of those regulars that I see every single stream, out of the thousands that come to my streams, out of the regulars, how many didn't lose interest in my channel and move on, but died of COVID and were just, you know, that was it. And I'll never know. You know, it could be some really, really big fans of mine who just up and died one day, and I will never know. To my knowledge, they just moved on with their lives. And how many of those people that are in my chat all the time, who are in my comments section on those videos, you know, 20,000 to 100,000 views. Hell, I have a couple videos with 1.3 million views on it, I think. How many of those people are no longer alive as a direct result of what these 2 people did? I just want to make sure everybody really understands how absolutely despicable the actions of these 2 people really are. People have died. People have lost others in their lives that they really cared about. And even the ones that they really didn't care about still affected them. These people, shame, it couldn't possibly even touch what they should be feeling right now. shame is not even the right word. Is there a right word for what these two people should be feeling about themselves for what they've done? Schmoobly-gong, I guess, comes close. I don't know. Try to lighten it a little bit. The behaviors that they have exhibited are monstrously disgusting. Are they redeemable? I don't believe anybody is irredeemable. I want to think that everybody can come back from some mistakes. But holy shit, bro, does it get worse than lying, falsifying studies, and getting children killed, and their parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins? Does it get worse than that? Boy, I am hard-pressed to find an example of it. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments, about Joseph Ladapo falsifying information and then praising Sherri Tenpenny as some kind of a hero. Simply disgusting, man. Simply disgusting. Criminal. That comes pretty close. I'm trying to think of what word should they use to describe themselves, or what word should they use to describe the feelings that they have inside. Shame is not there. It does not it doesn't hit the level that's appropriate to match the shit that they've done. I mean, it's bad, man. These people are bad. Schmoobly-gong, remorseful, guilt. Oh, one day maybe. One day maybe. They should certainly feel guilt. You know, there's a difference between guilt and shame. It's kind of interesting, actually. They're extremely similar emotions. You know, there's an emotion wheel. Check this out. They're kind of, emotions are separated into like categories, for lack of a better term here. And here's a smaller, more basic one. Emotion wheel 1. Happy, loved, confident, playful, embarrassed, angry, scared, sad. And then underneath each thing, you've got different subcategories. You know, under happy, you've got caring, grateful, and excited. Under loved, you got respected, valued, accepted. Anyway, the point here is that guilt and shame are different from each other because somebody who has psychopathy, somebody who is incapable of feeling emotions or kind of not feeling emotions, but yeah, I guess you could say somebody who is not capable of feeling emotions, at least not the way that normal human beings experience them. They are incapable of experiencing guilt, but they are capable of feeling shame. Or it may be the other way around. I don't remember now. I think that's it. The reason is because one emotion comes from the outside in. You know, you're feeling guilty because other people are unhappy with what you've done. But the other emotion is coming from the inside out. You know, shame. You feel like you've done something that's not right. You have some kind of a moral compass, and it's, you know, going off in your head. Shame and guilt. Different emotions. Kind of interesting. These two people right here are responsible for families losing people that they really cared about, that they will never see again. You know, people who were just good inside are gone now. People who others had grievances with will never be able to settle that now. Never be able to ask those questions that they felt they needed to ask because of these two people right here. Thank you, Joseph Ladapo. Thank you, Sherri Tenpenny, for getting people killed, for putting another empty chair at countless dinner tables. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.